Hi guys, in this video I'm going to be modeling a bridge like this, and these are recent renders I've done, and this time I'm going to add lights on the wires. So yeah, let's get started by modeling the actual bridge. I'm gonna make a cube and go to the edit mode. Actually, I'm gonna make it one-sided so I can extrude it later, and I'm gonna make it taller like that. Maybe make it a bit bigger. And now you can grab your knife tool and add several cuts like that. You can basically do your own design, but if you have no idea, you can just follow me along. So now I'm gonna select all the faces and press Ctrl A to extrude, and you can set keep faces together off, so you can extrude individual faces so you don't have to extrude it one by one. So now I got this shape and maybe a bit thicker edges. Now I can delete those faces and select everything like that and extrude it again. Now I can add thickness like that. Something like that. And now I'm gonna do select similar. I can extrude it again for some sort of decoration. And you can again set keep faces together off and add offset. And maybe you can extrude it again and do some decoration, or you can even make another polygon mesh and attach it to your surface or something like that. So I'm gonna go with this design this time. And now maybe I'm going to add a wire, a curved wire, and again I'm gonna start by creating a cube. I can basically scale it down, and probably I'm gonna delete those caps because I might be adding subdivisions later. So put it somewhere like that and go to the edge selection mode and select this edge look, and if you go to the side view, you can just move it to the very bottom like that, and maybe I can grab a knife tool and add some cuts and make it a bit curved. Something like that. So now what I can do is I can actually smooth it, add more divisions. It's got more continuous curvature, but as you can see, it's inefficient since it's gotten too many subdivisions on the other direction. That's not what we want, so I'm gonna reduce this mesh by going to mesh and reduce. It can reduce like 90%. Yeah, that will do. If you want more rounded wire, you can just reduce it less than that. So after you reduce it, it's a good idea to delete history because it processes it all the time when you make some changes to this mesh. So after you delete history, before I duplicate this, let's add some vertical wires. And again, I'm gonna go with a cube Maybe you can go with the cylinder, but I want to make this mesh a bit low poly, so yeah, this will work for me, but you can go with cylinder as well. So I'm gonna make it taller and make it a bit thinner than that wire over there because we're gonna use boolean to cut it out. So make sure it overlaps like that. I'm gonna put it here. This will work, and I'm just gonna press Shift D to duplicate and place it evenly like that. It's got even gaps, and you can just Shift D again and again to duplicate it multiple times. Okay, when you got enough shapes, you can just select all of them. And I'm gonna combine it and delete history. And now I'm gonna grab this wire and duplicate it. Actually, I'm gonna go to the outliner and select one wire and just hide it, so we don't get confused by those two. So what I'm gonna do is now I'm gonna select those two and go to mesh and select booleans and difference. Now it's got this kind of cut there, and probably we should detach everything. Go to edit mesh and detach, and if you go to mesh, there's an option called separate. Here we go. So if you separate it, you got a group, and these are all the objects that we just separated. Of course, you should maybe delete history so we don't see that transform node anymore. So now I can grab the top part of the wire, and I'm gonna create another group for them, and actually I'm gonna join the rest of them, combine it and delete history. And now I can select the original wire and show it again. Good. Actually, I'm gonna combine these two. The reason for that is I'm gonna do another boolean for creating lights because it's a bit hassle to place it manually. So I'm just gonna grab these wires and grab this wire as well and duplicate it one more time and hide one of them, and make sure it overlaps like that, and select both of them, and you can just do intersection boolean operation to make this kind of shape. So now I'm gonna show the original wire again, probably delete history for all of them. So I can select these mesh and place it on top of that. And if you don't like this shape for the lights, you can replace this with another mesh, but I'm gonna show that later. So now we're done with the basic shape of the bridge, so we can actually duplicate them to, you know, make the actual scene. So maybe I'm gonna raise it a little bit like that. And now it's time to duplicate the wires and the lights and everything. So I'm just gonna group them, select the group, and you can Shift D or Control D to duplicate and place it on the other side like that. Looks good. But before we go, maybe it's a good idea to replace those lights, because it's easier to work with less meshes. So I'm just gonna hide the other group and select the light object and go to the edit mode, select everything, make sure you detach all of that with everything selected. But you should select in face selection mode, because if you excuse me, if you select all the edges, it will separate all of the individual faces, so it's not a good thing for this. Anyways, I can separate it again. Okay, again we got another group for this. I'm gonna select all of them and delete history and center the pivot. So now we got pivot inner center of every individual pieces. Now I can create a cylinder and scale it down and select all of the original pieces and select the sphere and make sure the sphere is green, and go to the modify tab, and there's gotta be replace objects, and you can just do that. So it's now done, but it's probably too big at the moment, so I'm just gonna select all of them and scale it down. There we go. And maybe I can duplicate them again. Control D or Shift D to duplicate and place it like that. Probably I'm gonna center the pivot again for both of them. And now I'm gonna group these two objects, and I can actually duplicate it again. If you go to the attribute editor, there is a scale, and you can just put -1 on x-axis. But if you got different axes for that, you can just put it anywhere here. If this doesn't work, maybe you should freeze transformations or check this little axis indicator there. Then this should work. So now we're almost done. So now I'm gonna select everything, and we don't need this sphere anymore, so you can just delete that and group them, and probably you can duplicate it one more time and place it something like that. Now I'm gonna create another cube for the actual road and stretch it out. Get the right thickness and width. And again, can do some modeling here for more details. So I can just cut here to recess a little bit, something like that, and you can just select this and do select similar, so the other side of this part is selected as well, and just delete it. Okay, probably Gonna make it a bit wider. And now it's all about detailing. You can grab a cube again and make some shape for fences. Probably I'm gonna do this, extrude it and delete some of the faces. Make that shape or like that and just extrude it. And move it. Scale it down. Probably I'm gonna move the pivot to the very bottom of the object. Okay. Once you get the right scale, you can actually start duplicating it. But this is a pretty long distance, so you have to duplicate for like 100 times, and that takes long and not a very efficient way to work on it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna freeze transformation and duplicate it one time, and here's how we moved it. So remember this number and go to modify, actually edit, and duplicate special, and you're gonna see this, and set the geometry type to copy and group under parent. And the important thing here is the translate. So I'm just gonna put this number on the x-axis like that, and probably 200 copies. And if I do that, the job is done. And I can actually go to the very end of the bridge and delete all of the unnecessary objects. Again, back to the outliner. I want to group them all. Or even you can combine it, because it's not a good idea to have a lot of objects in the scene. It will slow you down. So now I can duplicate it and put it on the other side. It's a very fast way of adding details like this. And probably I'm going to extrude it. Extrude the actual road like that. And make it flat. But before we flatten it, I'm just gonna make sure it's not overlapping with each other. Now we got the right shape. And you may have noticed that this object is in black color. That's because it's reversed. So in this case, you can go to mesh display and reverse it. Now we got the right normal direction, so it should be great. And maybe it's a good idea to save the scene now. Alright. Now I'm just gonna do one more detailing. And this is about the bottom of the bridge. I don't think it's that necessary unless you shot it from the bottom. But let's do it anyways. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go to edit mesh and add divisions, but I'm just gonna click on this box icon and select linearly, and you can just add division. If you click on this icon right here, you can actually select more options, and I'm just gonna add divisions in certain direction. I don't think it's working. Actually, I have one more alternative option, that is go to the edge selection mode and select one vertical edge, and you can click on this icon to open up a modeling toolkit, and you can do connect and select segment and add as much segments as you want. Probably I'm gonna go with 40. That should be enough. Now what I can do is select these bottom edge loop here. Make sure you only selected the bottom part of this loop, and probably I'm gonna do poke to make this kind of cross shape, and duplicate it and set keep faces together off and offset, add offset like that, and extrude it. And I'm not perfectly sure about the shape of the bridge and how it actually looks like in real life, but you can maybe look up for some references. I'm just doing it according to my imagination, so maybe it's not that accurate. I'm just gonna do it anyways. Alright. So I'm just gonna add another sort of shape, detail shapes on the bottom by extruding it. This is all about making this bridge less boring, so you can just keep adding details like this. And let's save it again. And finally, let's add some lamps on the bridge to make the render look more beautiful or less boring. So you can just do your own design, but I'm just gonna make it simple like that. It will work. I think we should start applying materials. So I'm just gonna apply a new material. In my case, I'm just gonna use Arnold. I'm just gonna call it AI Metal, and select brushing metal preset, and maybe I'm just gonna make it a bit darker. And select the top part of the object and assign a new material, again AI Cylinder Surface, and let's call it AI Light. And this time I can just manually do the shading. I'm just gonna delete base and specular and add emission. Now we got a light. So I'm just gonna do the same thing as I did with the fence. So I'm just gonna place it somewhere like that. Get the right size for the lamp. Probably that's right. Okay. After you've done that, delete history and Shift D to duplicate. place it somewhere like that and just repeat it over and over again. Or you can duplicate special if you don't want to press Shift D like 100 times. Now it's done. And go to the outliner, select all of those lights that we just duplicated and group them, or you can combine them. Wanna keep your scene lighter, and center the pivot and duplicate it one more time and put it on the other side. Good. I'm gonna start applying materials. So if I select the light groups, probably this is the one. Yeah, the light groups, and you can just apply the same light material, or if you want another color, you can just assign a new material and do the same thing, delete weight and specular to optimize. Really, you can just keep it actually, and add whatever color you want. Maybe I'm gonna go with blue. I just noticed I didn't really select those groups. Okay. It's really hard to find. Probably I should have organized it a bit better than this. Yeah, I just selected every lights. Sorry about that. Alright, now the material is all applied. And save the scene again, maybe. And you can select wires and towers and everything like that. Basically, rest of the scene. And assign a new material again, and probably I'm gonna make this bridge green this time. Looks a bit weird. Maybe red, like Golden Gate Bridge. Alright. And do the same thing there and there. And probably I'm gonna assign another material on the road. Maybe call it AI road or something. So now finally we should organize it by renaming all of this. But I'm just gonna put all of them in one group, so we can just move them and duplicate them. So now the modeling and shading is done, basically. And you can start working on compositing and more shading and texturing. Before I end this video, I'm just going to show you one more thing, which is the water creation. Okay, I just noticed that this part looks really fragile, so I'm just gonna make a little changes to that. I'm just gonna select both objects and press F9 or function 9 to select the very bottom of the bridge, and I'm just gonna stretch it a little bit. Okay, looks more convincing. Okay, now I'm just gonna apply a new material to the surface, and to make a water surface, it's a good idea to add a bump map. So you can just go down to Geometry tab and add a bump map, and you can actually work on this procedurally. I usually use noise texture and specifically Perlin noise. It's all about getting the right value for all that. So get the right shape. It's probably a good idea to make this very shallow, because it tends to be more extreme in the actual render view. So yeah, be careful with this bump depth value. Now it sort of looks like water, but there's no reflection, so I'm just gonna quickly make a skydome light, and probably I can go to color and add a environment map, probably this sky. If you enable this sliding icon here, you should be able to see the reflection. So you can just make it darker or a bit bluish. It's gonna make it a bit bigger, like that. And if you go to the noise texture, you can actually increase the frequency. Yeah, basically it's done. And if you want to animate the water, you can actually go to the noise texture. You're gonna see time. You can just make it equal to the frame number, so it just animates like that. If you think it's too fast, you can just divide it in the expressionator, like 50 times, and there we go. The water is now animated. So I hope you enjoyed my tutorial, and thanks for watching, and please subscribe or like this video, and goodbye.